I know I'm late to the dance, but today I'm going to talk about summer wells. Stay tuned. I know this is a 3-year-old story. I'd not heard anything about it, so I've just recently started going down that rabbit hole that is summer wells. Let me go ahead and get some housekeeping out of the way. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Click on the little bell to get notified. If you like this, give it a little thumbs up. It would really, really, really mean the world to me. But whoa, man, I was not expecting all the craziness that I have found. And I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface yet of this Summer Wells case. By all means, if y'all know stuff that I don't know or have any links, put it down below, because I'm trying to get an education. I might have to make like 5 different videos because there is just so much to cover. And if you don't know, if you were like I was and weren't familiar with it, Summer Wells, she went missing out of Rogersville, Tennessee, which is very, very, very East Tennessee, on June 15th, 2021, around 6:30 p.m. You know, at first, I wanted to give Don the benefit of the doubt, Don Wells. I mean, he seemed like he was protecting Candace, and I still think he is. But now, whoo, it's like I'm watching To Catch a Predator meets Hoarders meets Intervention with a dash of Cops and Honey Boo Boo for good measure. It's it's crazier than anything you'd ever see on Jerry Springer. This is just nuts. And I gotta tell you, after watching enough of these interviews, these people are not criminal masterminds by any stretch of the imagination. They are not the sharpest tools in the shed. Pardon the pun, because Don really loves sheds, which you'll find out if you watch this. So what happened? There's a lot of theories of what could have happened. One, a random abduction by a stranger. They live on a dead-end road out in the middle of BFE. And people in small towns are very nosy. They know everybody's business. So you're going to come off the road. You got to know Summers in that particular room at the time. And the driveway wraps around the house. You can't just drive up on it. And did I mention they got a bunch of dogs? Grannis, the grandma, has a little trailer house right next to their house, which is really a shed. Huge amounts of foliage, so that there were road crews that were there, like knocking down trees and cutting. They live in a holler. I don't know if you know what a holler is. It's basically in between a bunch of hills. It's like you don't know what you're doing unless you know you're there. You know what I mean? Small town. There's no other offenders in the area. Anything that they found, there's no evidence, no sign of a breaking and entering. Because as Candace has said, you're locked in. There's no in. There's no out. Dozens of dogs on the property. And when Summer went missing anyway, and these dogs nowhere to be seen. They're not barking that a stranger's coming up. I don't find that very convincing. Property full of people at the time she went missing. I mean, the kids weren't home alone. You had the 3 brothers, you had Candace, the mom, you had Grannis, the granny, and no one can get in or out, Candace says. And no one saw anything? Nobody heard anything? I don't know. Theory number 2, she wandered off. There's no body. Search crews and dogs have not found her. I'm not buying that. Of course, there are witnesses. Allegedly, Hunter and Jose both have said that she wanders off. So could she wandered off exploring and a bear got her? Possible. It's possible. Could it be abducted by somebody that the family knows? Now, let's see. The family is surrounded by ex-offenders, drugs, DV, drug dealers, it's not a popular bunch of people that are living there in the holler, if you know what I mean. It's a shady crew. So that's possible. Or something happened and the parents did something. Just putting it out here. So let's go by the timelines, because there's more than one timeline. Timelines. So Candace, by her own admission, I'm not a time person, she says. But she says she was at the hospital at 8 a.m. I'm assuming she took her granny there. I've not even really heard that say for certain. I think she had an appointment and she took grandma there and left her. Now keep in mind this is during COVID, so maybe she couldn't have gone in, so she's in the car. At some point, Hunter calls her, according to her. What are you doing? I'm dropping Grannis off at the doctor. Oh, you want to go fishing? All right. So they go to the smoke shop, got Grannis a twisted tea, according to Candace. Went to the hippie house, which sounds like we're two different places. Got 3 nicotine vapes. One was a Skittles. She likes it. Hunter asked for one and she said no. Went to Walgreens to drop off the prescription. Had to wait, so they went to swim. Went back to Walgreens, got the prescription. Went to Sonic, got 2 grape, a cool water for Grannis, a blue one for Hunter. Marlin Drive is a priceless, like, grocery store kind of thing. They went to the store to pick up milk and cheese. 5 minutes. She's only in there 5 minutes. Hunter says an hour, but we'll go to his timeline in a minute. Said Hunter was in the truck with Summer and they were watching TikToks. And then she took Hunter back. She's like, sorry, but you can't stay. I gotta take you back. Now, according to Hunter, Hunter had to go back because he had to meet with like a parole officer, probation guy, something. So, but Candace is saying, I told him he couldn't stay any longer. Summer was awake, according to Hunter. Allie wanted to say hi. She say, nah, Summer's asleep. You can't. Allie didn't even come up to the truck. Candace said she put on Summer's swimsuit at her house, at Candace's house, because it was hot and I know she gets too hot. Keep in mind, when the picture is taken later on, there's going to be a picture taken where she is in like long pants, long sleeve jacket in the middle of June in Tennessee. She doesn't like to get too hot, but then you're saying that she talks about being too cold with the windows rolled down. I don't know about that. Now, going down to this, and Candace also says she doesn't like AC. The Candace doesn't like AC. So they take Grannis to the doctor because her knee. She's having knee problems, and they were on a vacation in Gatlinburg, and the boys were kicking at her knee. I think I'd be smacking some boys upside the head, but that's just me. And so the path going down to the watering hole looked pretty steep. And an interviewer, Chris, even said, well, did you look like, how did she get down here? Well, she's got a cane, and she'll put her hand on my shoulder, and we'll go down. Path is steep. Supposedly, she went to the hospital because of her knee. Okay. So Hunter, 15 years old. Keep in mind, Hunter is 15 years old at this time. Calls Candace. Hunter, she says that Hunter said that Summer fell on a rock, but you can see there's no rocks here. Well, I don't remember hearing Hunter say anything about a rock, but isn't that something to put in the back of your mind? A rock. She fell on a rock. Okay. Chris McDonough of the interview room, I was telling you about in another video, interviewed at the swimming hole, right? Well, a search and rescue shows up at this time during the interview, and her demeanor completely changes. Like, she's thinking, it's almost this look like, did you set me up kind of look. Like, she went from being like, kind of opening up till she sees the car. Like, you've seen a dog that's like, that's how she was. She just stopped everything she said. She was looking. So Chris turned around to see what she was looking at, and he's like, oh, well, who's that? Da, 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 da. But she clammed up. At one point, she says, Chris, I really feel that God is mad at me. And didn't finish because those cars showed up. Oh, we could have gotten somewhere. So, anyway, she drops off Hunter, goes back home, wakes up Summer, and Summer just jumps right up. And then Candace says she undid the what do you call it? The seatbelt. So, I guess she couldn't jump up too much because she was still seated in the seatbelt. So she got the boys to come help with groceries. So there were enough groceries that it was definitely more than milk and cheese. Definitely more than a 5-minute trip, right? They went and divided the groceries up in the kitchen because some of them were Granny's, took them out to Granny's. Now, when asked if the oldest son was babysitting the others, she tells Chris that, well, she didn't plan on being out that long. It was just going to be a quick second. She didn't plan on Hunter coming. Well, why did she go over to Allie's anyway? Because supposedly they had a falling out. Why is she communicating with Hunter? That's just weird. So supposedly Allie and her were really tight. They had a falling out. But she's still messaging Hunter? Like, I can't imagine. I've never just messaged my best friend's teenage children. Never. I don't know. I don't know if that's just a backwoods thing. I don't know. And in this interview, she says she did laundry. She sees Mom sitting on the camper steps. And she's like, what's wrong with you? And Grannis is like, we got to replant these plants, these cactuses. And says, do you think the boys want to help? Boys ain't going to want to help. She gets Summer. So they go out there. They're dealing with the flowers for 30, 40, maybe 50 minutes. Not sure. Done, they go in Granny's, wash their hands. Summer wants a piece of candy. Granny gives it to her. Summer wanted to go back in the house and play with the brothers, so Candace walked her to the house. The house is only, 40 feet away, 30 feet away. It's not even that far. You walked her over there? I mean, she's 5. She's not like a toddler. And planting the houses, have you seen that house? It does not look like there's a lot of planting going on. It looked like they were replanting weeds, is what it looked like to me. But planting flowers, I talk about flowers a lot too. I mean, these do not look like flower people, unless you call weeds flowers. But then she goes back in, asks the kids, where's Summer? Oh, she's downstairs playing with her toys. She goes, Summer! Doesn't hear anything. She goes down this crazy, I mean, it's like a house of horrors, which I've always wanted a house with secret passages, but maybe not this house, if you know what I mean. It's just super creepy. Super creepy. And that basement is pretty dark. I can't imagine me wanting to go down there by myself at 5 to play in the dark with my toys alone. But that's just me. Just me. Fine, she looks all over. She walks out this door. She sees the swing. She can't find her anywhere. Summer, where you at? And she calls Dawn. You gotta get home. I can't find Summer. Dawn's like, call 911. All right. She takes her phone, throws it in the back of Don's truck, because evidently Don took the Subaru that day instead of his truck. Something about a guy he fired. I don't know, maybe seeing the truck there would scare him off. I don't know. So she goes into her grand's house, uses that phone. Possibly, I'll give her the benefit, terrible cell phone signal, maybe. And you want to make sure you're on a good line when you're talking to the cops? Maybe. Maybe that's why I assume it was a landline, but it may have just been a cell. I don't know. I don't know if there's even phone lines that go up there. But picks up the mom's phone, calls 911. And so kid's missing, 6:30ish, 6:23, I think is the exact time. Don gets there, and he checks the shed. There's 2 sheds on the property. He doesn't check the other one. He just checks this one. Kind of doesn't want people to go to the other shed And they send the boys out to go looking. Okay, right off the bat, they're saying that Summer has been abducted. Summer's been abducted, so you're going to send your 3 other kids out to look with a crazy child abductor walking around? You want us to believe that that's what happened? Either you think we're dumb, or you're dumb and just letting child predators possibly get the other 3 kids you have. I think we know which one we're going to go with here. And then, oh my God, if I heard, it's like a drinking game. Every time you hear Don say resurrection, take a drink, you'll be torn up. Because he's a man that's found God, allegedly. But it talks about, well, I just hope she ain't nowhere in a dungeon getting tortured. God, whose mind goes to that right away, right? That's, I have to do a video about Don. Don is a creep, a really big creep. And we will talk about him in another video because I don't think I could fit it all in this one video. Now, Hunter's timeline conflicts a little bit. And I've gotten this timeline from Chris Dunna, who interviewed him a few months, 7 months or so after Summer went missing. But then there's another interview he did not long ago with his father, who is crazy looking too. His name's Andrew. So this is a piecing together from those 2 interviews. All right. So Hunter says Candace texted him saying her mother was in the hospital, like, what are you doing? And so Hunter invited them to come over, and Candace is like, well, all right, but if your mom, Allie, says it's okay. Oh, yeah, she says it's okay. She's asleep. I woke her up. So he says Wyatt and Josie, which are 2 of the sons, went to work with Don. And when Candace showed up, the only one in the truck was Summer. Candace and Summer, only 2 people there. Granny at the hospital. So she shows up maybe about 10 to 11 is what he says. Now, Allie said, the mom says about 10:30. So we'll say 10:30. He asks if he can go with them fishing. And, she says, ask Allie. So he's thinking this whole time that they're going to go fishing. Just according to him. And he says, like, well, the brothers, they were brothers. They picked on her and stuff. And, she saw him as, like, an older brother, too. So he would be, like, the protector. Grannis at some point calls and says, I'm done. Come pick me up. And so Hunter was sitting in the front. And there was a box in the back. And then they moved it to the back in the bed. So I guess Grannis could ride shotgun. And he got in the back seat. So he's in the back seat. Summer, and then there's another box. So that's what's in the back right now. And in the back of the bed, he said there was like boxes and TVs in the bed. So Summer, he says, had on like, it was either pink or a purple tank top and some shorts. And he said that Candace put her in the bathing suit at Allie's house. Allie also says this. Again, I think there's a lot of drugs that these people are doing. All of them, all the parties involved. So memories may not be accurate. And then she had an outfit to change into to go to the Jonesboro water park or something later. I don't know where this water park is. I don't know if they were actually doing that. Whatever. But the point is that the plan in Hunter's mind went from fishing to swimming because Grannis was with him. Well, they always knew Grannis was going to be with them. Why would that have changed? And they didn't have fishing rods with them, did they? I don't know. So they go back, they get Grannis from the hospital. So due to Hunter says then they go to Walgreens, which is near Warrior Park, to drop off the prescription. They said it was going to be about 30, 35 minutes, but there was a long line. So they thought to kill time, they would go to the watering hole. At some point during this, Dawn calls. I guess he would call her all the time to check up or whatever. He calls to say some dude is walking around the property, looking at little kids, wanting to touch little kids. Been on the property last week, maybe touching kids. Well, how would Don have known there was a stranger on the property? He was at work. Did the kids call and tell Don? I don't know. So we never know why Don thinks that there's a pervert walking around the property. Billy, I'm not even sure who this Billy is. That he was an old drunk that was friends of theirs, and he had the hots for grandma, but not around the kids. And he'd get into fights with his wife and sleep in their shed. So Billy would often sleep in their shed when he got in fights with his wife. Not sure who this is. And supposedly, according to Hunter, Don would like call Candace up like every couple hours to check up. So then they go to the discount tobacco near the Long John Silver's. And Summer, like I said, sitting in the middle, Hunter's on the side, Grannis is in the passenger side. They get cigarettes, vape, Skittles, and a twisted tea. So the order of events we see are changing. And like in Candace, I think one of them, it's like they do the smoke shop before Walgreens. Here they're doing it after the drop off. So they drive from that discount tobacco, according to Hunter, straight to the horse stable park where the watering hole is. Summer gets cold when the windows are down. He says this too. So they go in the swimming hole. Candace gives Hunter the twisted tea, but according to Candace, she bought it for Grannis. According to Hunter, Candace gave it to him. Okay? All right, so he asked for it after she bought it, according to him. And both of them were hitting the vape that she had bought. So Candace and Hunter, according to him, Candace and Hunter are looking at TikToks and Facebook while he was drinking the twisted tea. Grannis was still in the truck because she was trying to put minutes on her Straight Talk phone. Now, according to Candace, what had happened was, got Grannis holding her shoulder while they go down that steep embankment. Summer was in front of her. Hunter had ran off to the woods. Now, according to Hunter, no running off to woods were mentioned. Grannis is still in the truck. Anyway, so Grannis comes down to the water, I guess after getting her minutes on her phone. Did Candace help her down? I don't know. So Grannis comes down to the water after she's done with the phone. At some point, Summer goes underneath the water for like 10, 15 seconds, according to Hunter, but it could have been longer, could have been shorter. Hunter got concerned, though, enough so that he threw his shirt down and walked into the water to check on her to make sure she was okay. He pulled her up and asked her, "You all right?" And she's laughing and giggling and stuff. According to him, Candy and Grannis are talking about flowers, and Candace doesn't even notice this is happening with her kid. And talking and just yakking away and talking about flowers. He says he didn't see her go under at first because Candace was showing a TikTok. They're very big on their phones. All right, so after that, they go to the hippie house. Again, it's like there's two different places. They want to go look around because it had just opened. So Candy and Grannis went in. Hunter and Summer stayed in the truck watching TikToks. And they came out with 2 vapes, and she gave one of them to Hunter. And he says they were only in there about 5 minutes. So she was talking about LOLs and puppets or whatever, along with watching the videos, is what Sumner's saying to Hunter. So 15 minutes later, they went back to Walgreens, and now Hunter's in the middle, and Summer's sitting on a pillow because her bathing suit's wet, is what he's saying. So I don't know. Went to Sonic. He got a blueberry. Mom got the orange. Grannis got the purple. And Summer also got the blueberry. So what they all got has changed by the 2 accounts. But, I don't know that I would remember that after 7 months or so. I don't know. So they drank them on their way to the price list. Candace and Grannis goes in. Hunter stays out with Summer in the truck watching TikToks. He says they were in the store for about an hour maybe more. And in the interview with Andrew, he says about an hour, hour and a half. So there's an orange soda that is in this picture that you'll see of Summer kind of falling asleep, and no mention of where does this orange soda surprisingly come from. We don't know. Nobody remembers. So Hunter's got the milk. He's sitting in the middle, so it's sitting on his lap so it won't spill because he don't want to get yelled at. He said Summer was in the middle when he got out, so he put the milk down. It gets very confusing of where Summer was, but Candace hands him a vape from the front of the truck. He's unsure how the milk moved, doesn't really remember. Again, he's had a whole twisted tea, which may be nothing to him. He may have a little buzz. Who knows what else they've done. But you see the box, the milk, Summer laying on them. So Candace calls Hunter later on to say that Summer's missing. Again, I'm not understanding the dynamic here. I mean, how close were they? Like, I would call my best friend to tell her my daughter's missing. I wouldn't call my best friend's son to tell him. But again, I don't know. So, and Hunter thought she was just messing with him. Didn't believe her. And because sometimes Candace would get drunk and high and then think that her kids were missing even though they weren't. And he'd be like, oh, go look outside, see if they're outside. That's pretty telling. And I kind of believe him. Because she definitely seems like the person. Because both Hunter and Hunter and Jose both said that around 5 o'clock she would start drinking. Every day. 5 o'clock. I don't know if she's getting prepared for Don to come home and she didn't know what she was going to get with him. I don't know. But I kind of believe two of them are saying the same thing. Just like both of them said that Summer would walk off. I'm kind of believing them. Hunter calls the next day saying, she calls Hunter saying that she was sitting in the police station saying that they wanted to do another polygraph on her. He thinks that she may have taken two. TBI told Hunter not to contact Candace. Okay, then she shows up at Allie's a couple days later and tells him, don't mention that alcohol. Like that's the biggest problem that they're going to have. He mentions that Summer would never go from the swing that's up there. But then he said before that she would wander off. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Now, Don and Candace, both, one or the other, if not both of them, said that she would never leave from where that swing was. So I don't know if somehow in their mind that swing is like a, like a stake in the road, like you never go past this. But it sounds like she did. It sounds like she did it quite a bit. She knew how to unlock that door and get out. And that's the thing. The door. Oh, it's always locked. Oh, that lock doesn't work. Which is it? So at some point, I guess it was when Candace went over to Allie's. Candace goes out to the truck for something, leaves her cell phone. Well, Hunter picks it up, starts looking at it. And there's 13 text messages between Candace and her drug dealer, according to Hunter. One message he saw said, it was done. And he didn't have enough, because we started coming back in, so he didn't have enough time to look and see what a response was. This is according to Hunter. He's not sure, he's not 100% sure if Don was at work or not. Because again, like, how would he know somebody's walking around? And this is, of course, he didn't hear the conversation, so it's got to be whatever Candace told him that Don said. So we don't know. In the interview with Andrew Hilt, which is Hunter's bio dad, he says he was home while Hunter was getting dropped off. Again, not sure how he knows that, because it sounds like Candace lived about 30 minutes away from the town. So they wouldn't have gone to Candace's first before they dropped off Hunter. They would have dropped off Hunter first, because Hunter's house was more like in the town near all the stuff. I think that's a long video for right there. So let me see if there's any other dates. When we get into the Don stuff, it's insane. It's insane. Oh, so Allie, Hunter's mom, says Candace did meth. She drank every day at 5:30. She smoked pot. And again, rumors, so we don't know. But she says that Grannis was supposed to adopt Summer because Candace only wanted boys. I've got some theories about Candace that I don't know if I want to share because I don't want everybody getting mad at me. But from the first moment I saw Candace, I had a feeling about her. And there was something on their TV that kind of confirmed in my mind. We'll see if y'all figure out what it is. So now, Chris McDonough's timeline. Candace changed her name from Wells to Bly, which was her maiden name. So before Summer went missing, she went by Wells. After Summer went missing, she started going by Bly. Interesting. So, 1:33 p.m., they were at Walgreens. Now, he wasn't sure if it was picking up the prescription or dropping it off. I'm not sure really either. Don said she might be locked away in a dungeon somewhere, and that being an outdoorsy kid was her downfall. That guy is a piece of work. All right, now, when Candace is showing Chris around the house, they go downstairs through this bar they've made, but you got to go underneath the bar to go down these weird, creepy steps to get into the basement where their bedrooms are. Bedrooms are like basically just mattresses on the ground, from what Chris says. And one side of the basement is their bedroom. The other side is Summer and I think one of the boys, Waylon, I think they said. But Summer sleeps with them every night and has since she was born, and takes showers with Don. We'll talk about that later. But when Chris is being shown around, Chris said that on the TV, because they're flashing around as they're watching it, was Girls Gone Wild. And he says he knows that for a fact, and it was on True TV. Because that was around the time, those shows were on all the time. And the commercial said, I don't know if it was just a commercial, because some people were thinking, oh, she's watching porn. Chris is like, no, it was not porn. It was Girls Gone Wild. Now, that's interesting to me, because as she's showing around, we don't see Dawn anywhere. So you have to think Dawn's not home. And the kids aren't there. It's just Summer. Grannis isn't there, it doesn't seem. It's just Summer showing Chris around. And Girls Gone Wild's on TV. Do you know a lot of women that watch Girls Gone Wild? I'll just leave that there. Anyway, we'll talk about that more in another video. But thank you again so much for watching. And if you liked what you saw, if you want to just click on that subscribe button. Again, it would mean the world to me. Click on the little bell so you get notifications. And thumbs up if you liked it. It would so help me. I'm trying to grow this brand new baby station. So thank you so much for watching. And come back and see me again.